Hello everyone, welcome, it's Michelle, and let's get straight down to what's on my desk because I'm in the middle of making another handmade sketchbook, so we're going to be doing that today. But I also am going to reorganize my smaller SENDAK. It's not the biggest one, it's the next size down. And I want to kind of organize it slightly differently so that I don't actually need some watercolors. Maybe it's just pencils, colored pencils. Maybe I'll put some Caran d'Ache, Neo Color 2, something like that. And I made a start by pulling out a selection of Derwent drawing pencils. So I'm going to be doing that. But first, if I move that one out of the way, let's carry on with my sketchbook that I'm making, in case any of you haven't seen the previous one. So these are, I think they're roughly A4 pieces of paper. They were they're not the best paper, I'm going to say that. It's quite flimsy. It's definitely not 300 GSM. Maybe 180, 200. Yeah, it's quite flimsy, but I think it will be all right for a little sketchbook out and about if I'm not using watercolor, if I'm actually using some colored pencils and other materials instead. So I've folded up 10 pieces of paper, put them all in half. I found some card and I've covered one side of each to give me a front and a back, like so. So that's going to be my front. That's going to be my back, which is quite nice because this is an old painting that I did. And I quite like the fact that it's got my little stamp on it. So this is what we are working with. And I'm going to get that side, yes, that's the right side, squidged together. Now we need some things to hold it together, basically. So we'll have one that side, and we'll have one that side, and then I need one that I keep moving. So I need another one. Here we go, there's one. Perfect. So I'm going to do the glue next, and I'm going to do a little bit of glue and then kind of clamp it together and keep moving, if that makes sense. So this is bookbinding glue. It's acid free and archival. So that's what I'm using, and this worked really well for my other sketchbook that I made. So let's get plenty of glue on there. This is the paintbrush, an old paintbrush that I decided I would use for all of this sketchbook making. So I really want to get that glue in there. And then I'm going to tighten that. Okay, let's move down. Might need another clip. Okay, that's that one done. Let's find another clip to keep that done up tightly. Is that going to open far enough? I'm hoping it will. Yes, there we go. Okay, and then I'm going to need one more. So let's grab another one. And I think I'm going to turn it, being right-handed, and see if I can just do this last bit. And this glue dries clear, by the way. So let's just get that all glued together. And get this other clip on there. Let's get it nice and wide. Right. So that then has to dry, and then we put our bookbinding tape over the top. So that's going to have to dry for sort of overnight, basically. So just for the minute, I'm going to move all of this out of the way so that we've got space to plan. So let's put you somewhere safe. And then move in these. So I know that I want those pencils in there. And I've got some glue there. Let's get rid of that. And then we can pop them there. So I'm literally going to take everything out so that I can decide what to put back in. Looks like I've got some other pencils in here as well. Right, I think that's everything. Oh no, one more. Something else in here. There we go. That's those. Nothing else there. Right, what have we got here? And in here. Okay. And then in here. Right, we've got some white and we've got some gold. That still might be useful, so we'll keep those two in there. What have we got in here? Pencil sharpener, refill for this, and a wax resist. Well, I'll keep that in there because if I, decide to use some paints, that might be useful. Right, okay. So that's what we've got in there. So we'll zip that back up again. Okay. Can't go anywhere without that. As everybody knows, that is my go-to pen. Right, we've got a pencil here, which we might need, and that's got an eraser on the end. So we'll keep that. Next, let's get these Derwent drawings because I want to use these more. I'm not using them enough. So I'm wondering whether I put all of these Derwent drawings at the back here. I really need to swatch them out so as I know what colours are there. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's find a piece of paper that's going to fit. So I kind of only want it that size. Okay, so around about that size. There we go. Is that going to fit? That will fit in there, but it's a bit too tall. Right, let's make you a bit shorter. Perfect. Right. At least then I will know what colours I am taking with me. Right. Let's get you swatched. Swatchy. This isn't going to show up really, but we'll swatch it. So we've got Chinese white. We have got mustard. Should I put the names underneath? Probably. Chinese white, mustard, and then what is this? This is Bistro, and that needs sharpening. So let's find my pencil sharpener. There you are. And let's have you at the ready anyway. And there we go. They can all go on there. Right, there we go. There's Bistro. This one looks very pale. Oh, it looks quite pinky. Taupe. Let's go with you next. Taupe. Then we have got light sienna. I'm just kind of going up in from pale to dark, really, more or less. Anyway, ash rose. What's this? Green shadow. Maybe this one next. Fresh green. Moss green. Let's stick with our greens, shall we? Is that a green? No, that's a blue. Rainforest. Okay, we've got Violet Dusk. Where should we go from there? Ink Blue. Okay. Autumn Leaf. And this one is called Woodland. Sepia Red. That needs a bit of a sharpen. Sepia Red. Chocolate. Carbon Grey. And Ivory Black. Whoops. Right, let's just move that a minute. So these are the colours that I have pulled out. Once I've filled my SENDAK, I think what I might do is come up with, I might do myself another piece of paper and come up with little mini colour palettes out of those, if you see what I mean. But for the minute, let's bring you back and we'll pop you in there like so. Okay, we've got that much in. Right, what have we got here? We've got a water brush and something to fill the water brush with. But we've got 2 water brushes, which is probably not such a bad thing. And they've both got a fair amount in, and there's more in that. So where shall we put our water brushes? Shall we put those? There's 1. There's 2. And then I think that can live down in the back there, which is fine. We've got a spray water bottle. Will that fit in one of these holes? Yes. Okay. In case I want an ordinary paintbrush, we've got that one there. You can go in there. And what is this? Is this a small one? Yes, that's a detail one. So we'll put the 2 of those in together. Definitely going to want a white gel pen and a gold gel pen. So yes, we're keeping those. What is this? Ah, this is a flat. Okay. Now you're going to go in one of these, or let's maybe, I think it might go in some, they do stretch these little sections here do stretch, I think, you know, just by using them really. So perhaps, no, okay, we'll keep that one there then maybe, and then that one there. Okay, so that's those done. This is this a fine liner? This is a fine liner. We can probably fit that in if I move some of those over. We can fit our fine liner in there. Now let's just see what we've got here, and do I really need them? These are just, they're not anything different from what I've already got, I don't think. So let's just pull this out a minute. Although I don't know, that is quite a good colour. Do we really need that? Not really. We've got the mustard. Right, let's lose you. What is this? It's quite a dark green that's quite nice, but I've got rainforest, so I don't need that. This is water soluble. There we go. So I think I want to keep my water soluble pencil, and that can fit in with the small the smaller paintbrush. Where am I? Here I am. Okay, that is a good colour, so we'll add you. We'll keep you. You can go in there. Was that the one I was keeping? Yes. You can go in there. And then this one. And it's really the same as the mustard. So we'll lose you. Okay then. So, right. See, I'll put those away. And what I really need to do is swatch them. Although, in fact, we've just got these. I'm going to, because they're not the same. There we go. We'll just add them to my swatching. And other than that, we've got this, which is my little wristband. I'm going to leave that out for a minute. Now then, so that's really pretty much full. And all I've got is, well, I've got some space at the back here. Yeah, but all I've got, well, do I want to use watercolour with these? Or do I want to take some neo colours? I'm wondering whether I want to take some neo colours. Right, I'm going to find my neo colours. I'll be back in 2 ticks. Well, I changed my mind again, and I think yeah, I'm going to take these because these are water soluble like the neo colour 2s, but they'll fit in here and some in here. And maybe we will not be taking actual paint at all. So what I need to do is find some colours. That's going to distract me, so I'm going to tear that off. I need to find some colours that are going to go well with the colours that I've already got in my pencils. So let's just, well, what colour is this? This is Gathered Twigs. And I think that's a brown that will go quite nicely. What is this? Tarnished brass. Maybe no, I'm not liking that one that much. What else have we got here? What's this? Forest moss. I suppose I'll do these properly in a minute. So that's our brown. That's our forest moss. That's nice. They're both quite nice. This is another green. Let's go with the greens. Where does it say what this one is? I have no idea. But it's another green. It's like an olivey green. What else shall we take? Gosh, I can't tell what the colours are on most of these. They seem to be written in French. Goodness knows where I got them from then. This looks like a kind of a yellow ochre to me, which I think will go quite nicely with what's here. Iced spruce. Oh, that looks like a good colour. What else shall we have? Don't really want. Oh, what colour are you? Have I got two the same here? Nebulous. Okay, they're both the same. Oh, but that's a good colour. Okay, we'll have you. That was a gelato. Antiqued bronze. Okay. No, it's just a bit garish. We won't be bothering with you. What's this one? Oh well, never mind. Looks like it's a gold of some kind. And I quite like that. We'll have you. This is another green, which could work well. A real kind of spring green. And then what are you? Tea dye. Okay. Nice. Right, have we got enough? Should we take a bright yellow in case we need it? Okay. Right, now let's swatch them properly. And I need to do something the same size as this. So we don't need to measure it again. We can just, there we go, there's pencil. And then okay. Do you like setting things up like this? I find it quite fun. You know, just changing up my materials. You know, this will be for this specific sketchbook that I'm using. So let's swatch these. So we have got this bright yellow, and we've got this more mustardy yellow, and we've got this tea colour. I ought to label them. I know what will happen. I'll get out and you know, I won't know what I've got. Right, what is this called? We know not. I'm just going to call it Marabou Yellow because that's the brand of crayon. And then this one is yeah. We'll call this one Distress Mustard. And this one is Distress Tea Dye. Okay, then moving on. Oh no, let's go with our gathered twigs. And probably I don't know why they just don't have. Well, this is called Iced Char. I have found the name now. Iced Char Gelato. Iced Spruce. That's a Distress crayon. What are we going to call that? Oh, Peeled Paint, this is called. Okay. And Forest Moss. And that's a Distress crayon. Then we've got a couple of gelatos. What was this? Comet. Okay. Oops. Comet, Gelato, and Nebula. Right. And these are things that I don't use a great deal as well. So I think, you know, I'm pulling out things that I wouldn't normally use, but now I'm going to. So I'm going to put the smaller gelatos in there because we've already got the water refill. So we've got that, yeah, we've got the water refill in there. And then hopefully these taller ones will all go. Will they, won't they? Let's put you the other way. Maybe you will. And again, maybe you won't. Oh, some of you might have to go on the other side. Yes. There you go. Okay, so I've just about managed to get them in there. So what I then need to do is pop those in, and there we go. That's my setup. But I kind of need to have some colour palettes in mind to use while I'm out. So I'm gonna do another one that's the same size as this. And obviously this is all quite rough, really. Right, that's going to go across there. There we have it. So let's look at what we have here, because there's no paints in this set now, and see if we can come up with maybe a couple of colour palettes on that side and a couple of colour palettes on that side. So let's just halve this. It's almost 17 and a half. So 5, 6, 7, 8 and a half, 8 and a bit. Okay, roughly. Oh, why don't I just fold it? Sometimes my brain is really not thinking. So that's there. Okay, so a couple of colour palettes from this and this. So maybe we could go with, let's go with fresh green and maybe I should probably pull these back out again, shouldn't I? There's peeled paint. Is that you? No. You. Okay. So let's have this moss green and this peeled paint, which can be used in 2 different ways. So we've got a couple of greens there, and maybe we'll put our kind of pinky, so let's put Bistra and Ash Rose, and we'll put our Violet Dusk. And where's that light sienna gone? Here you are. And then we're going to need maybe we can have, let's gathered twigs. Yes, you're the really dark brown, aren't you? To contrast. So if I'm doing something that's kind of a bit flowery, I think that might kind of work. And we could always add in this darker pencil as well. So I think that would make quite a nice, you know, if I'm doing greenery with some trees and then I've got these kind of delicate pinky colours for flowers. So I think that would be a kind of a flower palette anyway. I think for if I'm doing something that is more landscape, oh, let's pop you there. Should really label these up, shouldn't I? What colour is woodland? No, I think what I really want is this taupe? Taupe. Oh, I've put one back, haven't I? Which one did I use? That one? Oh goodness, that's definitely that colour. That's definitely, that's that colour. Right, I'm guessing it's chocolate. Chocolate. Right, five colours so far on that one. We're going to need to lighten it up with something. We could also add that pencil in. I think, oh, I'm not liking that much. I think maybe I probably need, what do I need? Yellow? You know, if this is kind of rocks and sea and yeah, we just need something to, yeah, so we go with that. And some ink blue. Okay, right. So I'm going to call this one Floral, and I'm going to call this one Seascape. And let's just was that one of those that, no, this one was, and this one was. Yeah, they're the ones that are water soluble. So I've got a couple of water soluble on that one, a couple of water soluble on that one. So we've got 2 Floral Seascape. I guess I need to do a kind of like woodland set, but first I need to label these up. So this video's turning out to be quite long, so I'm going to label them up as I pause. Okay, so I have dried those off, and this is going to be my idea of a little floral palette. This I think will be good for a seascape. So let's now choose some things for maybe like a forest. And I think let's get some view out. At you. Okay, if we're doing a kind of a forest, I think we're going to want the rainforest colour. I'm going to write these as I go. And the moss green. So we're going to need moss green. We're going to need all of our greens really, fresh green. Okay, and then we're going to need, well, what colour was this? Tea dye. That could be useful. So that one's tea dye. We've got those others, haven't we? So, but maybe that might be useful. This is iced spruce. It's another one that we can. That's nice. We need a much darker. No, that's ivory black. Where is my chocolate gone? There you are, I think. Yes. So, chocolate. And where is my blue? Ink blue. And we're probably going to need Nebula. And I think that would be quite good. We'll call that forest or woods. I think that would make quite a nice little palette for that. And maybe then let's maybe have kind of an autumn palette. So we're probably going to need our chocolate again. Sepia. Well, it's sepia red in brackets. Let's use our autumn leaf. And where's my light sienna? I think if I can find it, yes, let's get our marabou yellow, and this was yellow ochre, wasn't it? Distress. Oh, mustard. Sorry, this was mustard. There we go. Those two we can add some water to. And that way we're building up quite a nice selection. What else might we want that is quite autumny? Where's woodland? Where are you? Is that this one? Yes. Woodland. And maybe Bistra. There's Bistra. There you are. What else is going to be quite autumny? Maybe the mustard. Mustard. There we go. I think that, whoa, losing my pencils everywhere. Yes, I think that makes quite a nice, and I'm just popping these all back in. So everything, there we go. Gosh, what happened there? So I've got all of my coloured pencils in there. I've got some water brushes. I don't really need the paint brushes, but I'll leave them in there because I'm just going to be using water brushes. And then I've got lots of water soluble crayon type things in the back here. And I've got my two swatch lists, if you like. Wonder if they will just fit. No, maybe not. They're just going to have to go loose. And then I've got these colour palette ideas, you know, autumn, kind of a foresty one, a seascape one, and a floral one. So I think that kind of sets me up quite nicely for, you know, taking everything out and about. So let's just see if we can do it up, which is always the thing, isn't it? Oh, that's getting a bit bent. Never mind, it'll be fine. So we can definitely do this up, she says. It will do up. There we go. It does do up. And once it's done up, I can just tuck my little, that's instead of taking tissues basically, but I can just kind of tuck that in the top. And there we have it. There we have my smaller SENDAK with some ideas, and all to work with my, let's see if it's dry actually. I don't think it will be, but that's all to go with this. It's still not quite dry really. I did leave the other one overnight, so I should probably do the same thing. But to go with this particular paper, which is, it is this paper that's actually quite thin, so I don't think it's going to work very well with watercolour. That's why I don't want to waste it, so I will just keep using more of it. I've got a whole pile of it here. So that's what I'm going to be doing with this paper. I'm going to make it into little sketchbooks that I can take out with me with this particular setup, which won't be using a great deal of water. So it'll be more coloured pencils and using those coloured crayons that are water soluble, or just using them on their own without water, and I think that'll work quite well. So I will show you the sketchbook once this is all dried, putting on some tape, but for now I'm going to leave this video. I'll just add a bit to it, and I might cut out some of the stuff which is a bit boring. Anyways, I will see you shortly with this and finish this off. So I'm adding this bit on later on the video, but this is the completed sketchbook, and I have used my SENDAK. I did this little picture, and I also did this one. So it seems to be working okay. So I'm quite happy with my little sketchbook and my little setup that I have for this, you know, much more flimsy paper, and just so that I'm not wasting it and I'm using it. And those paintings that maybe I wasn't so happy with, I'm keeping them to use as book covers. And the cardboard that I'm using is the cardboard that you find on the back of all sorts of you know, writing notepads and watercolor sketch pads, things like that. I'm just saving them so that I can use them for covers for handmade sketchbooks. So quite a long video, but I do hope you know, that Where are we? Let's just add me in. So I've got my camera in the way. So I do hope that that was useful. And yeah, it's always fun to rearrange, you know, your SENDAK basically. So have a lovely morning, afternoon, or evening, and I will see you next time.